talk about variables in this video because that's like one of the building blocks for learning JavaScript. I've written some notes here and the link to these notes I'll share in the video. You can take a look. It's pretty straightforward. Before I go into the details, I would like to show you something. So if you are wondering how to run JavaScript code or how you should start coding in JavaScript, so there are two ways. Okay, one is like every browser, like this is Chrome, right? So I'm using a shortcut. I'm opening developer tools here, so you can open developer tools on any browser, and this allows you to write JavaScript code. So basically I can write something like, say, age. Let's use some keyword, and I'm going to talk about these shortly, but you can write code. Okay, and that allows you to execute JavaScript. Let me do something more. Let's say 2 plus 3, and let's see. So it executes the JavaScript code. Whatever I'm writing here is like JavaScript stuff. Okay, so this was just a quick intro to using your developer tools to execute JavaScript code. The other way is obviously you can create a JavaScript file. You can include it in your HTML file and then run it. So I'll show you that also. So let's get started. What are variables? Okay, that's the first building block. See, for whenever you are trying to program, whenever you are trying to use computers, the primary thing is the data, right? So data can be anything. Okay, it can be, say, employee information, right? It can be student information, whatnot, right? You must be familiar with all this. So it can be video, audio, stuff like this, right? So how do we go about uh, uh, using this data, storing this data? Now, every programming language provides you with the concept of variables. Variables are nothing but it allows you to store data, okay, to work with it. So let me just read these things because I've kind of written this for you guys, and it'll give you more clarity. First thing is, if you have done any kind of programming, if you have used any language, C, Java, Python, whatnot, then I think you will be at home with this concept because each language provides variables to store data. And if you have not, then obviously we are going to cover all that here. Okay, so variables are used to store values, like I mentioned. It can be a string, it can be a number, or other forms of data. Okay, let's see an example here. So this is a variable. First name is a variable which holds this data, Ankur. So like I wrote here, I wrote this line, say let price is equal to 300. Now this is all JavaScript. Okay, so this is like a variable. So the variable here is price, and it holds this piece of information which is a value, which is 300, right? I could have written like this: f name, that is first name, is equal to Ankur. Okay, and then if I try to print it, you'll see I'll get Ankur. So f name is holding this value Ankur. Okay, that's what a variable is. It allows you to store some data, okay, temporarily in your memory. So variable is nothing but it's a location in memory where you can consider like a bucket, and the bucket has this value in it. Okay, so how do you go about using this? First thing is you need to declare a variable. Declaration means this piece, let first name. So this is a variable, and here we are declaring. So here is age, and we are declaring age here, the variable. I mean, um, you are telling your compiler that this is the variable I'm going to use, and it's going to store some value. Okay, so first thing is you need to declare a variable. We can use keywords like let, var, const to declare variables. Okay, so I'm going to talk about let and const shortly along with this one. Const is used to declare variables whose value whose values do not change. So suppose I want to have a variable, say this const color is red, and I don't want this value to be changed. Like I don't want someone to go ahead and make it yellow. Okay, I always want this color to be red. Then I'm going to use the const keyword. So this is a keyword in JavaScript. Keywords are nothing but they are the syntax, basically they are that's being used by JavaScript to tell something. Okay, so here const means that okay, don't change this variable's value going forward, it'll always be red. Okay, and let means you can change this value, so you can go ahead and change it to age is equal to 50 anywhere in your code, and it's going to modify the value. But if you do this color is yellow, then it's not going to work, it's going to give you an error. So how do we, I mean, how do you validate what I'm saying is right or not? So we have already done let price is 300, right? I'm just going to modify the price to 800. Okay, and now it's 800, it's printed. But if I say const and I say x is equal to 99, okay, and then I print x, it's 99, then I say x is equal to 100. Now I have an error here, right? So this is the problem. So assignment to constant variable, this is the problem. So I can't change it once I declare a const. Cool. Next, let's go on. So what happens if I just say let price and I don't specify any value? It it is taken as undefined in this case. So if you are going to print this out, so if I just say let y and I print y, it's going to be undefined. Okay, so you need to assign some variable. And how do I do it? I need to initialize the variable. This is the second step. Okay, so second step is once you have declared a variable, you're going to initialize it with some value. Okay, so that I mean the variable is of some use to us, right? Now there are some rules around naming variables. um, so you don't want to use numbers at the start of the variable name. Like you don't want to have say 44 cost or something. One thing is it doesn't look good, it doesn't mean anything, and second is it's not allowed. Okay, the variable names are case sensitive. So let cost equal to 800 is a different variable. Okay, it's not the same as this. So caps, lowercase, uppercase, that's like both are treated differently. Normally we go about using camel case. Camel case means like if you have something like cost price and it has like two words in it, basically cost and price, then this one is like caps, the starting of the second is caps. Or something like let first, sorry, let first name. So here you see name n is caps, in caps. Okay, don't use reserved words. Like you don't want to say let okay is equal to 100. This is not good. So you are trying to use a keyword. Keyword means the reserved words for JavaScript. Okay, so that's about like variable naming rules. Pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. The other thing is variable types. Now what all data can you store? Obviously you can store numbers, you can store strings, you can store objects. If you don't know objects, fine, we'll cover that later on. You can have arrays. So you don't, but the good thing is you don't need to specify your variable types in JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, quite like Python. So it automatically infers based on the value you assign. It automatically knows that this is string, this is number, like age is number, message is string, flag is a boolean. It automatically interprets that. Okay, you only need to use let or const. Okay, that's about it. You don't need to specify the type. So I think you can go through this sheet. I'll share these notes with you. I'll also try to share um, a blog article with this, so you can go through it. If you have any doubts, just share that in the comment or write a feedback to me. Hope this was a value to you. Thanks. Bye.